5 Things Rukmini Had Going Against Her, by Krishna's Mercy.
Quote, I can understand that the marriage of Rukmini with Shishupala has been arranged by her elder brother in a spirit of animosity toward me. So I am determined to give a good lesson to all of these princes. Just as fire is extracted and utilized after manipulating ordinary wood, similarly, after dealing with these demoniac princes, I shall bring forth Rukmini, like fire, from their midst. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vol 1, Chapter 52.
1. Daughter of a king. Rukmini had a certain desire. This desire developed through hearing. This is the emphasis of the saintly people following the Vedic tradition for attaining the highest goal, more so than finding a better temporary destination in the next life, rising to fame and prominence, having more influence than anyone else, or living for a long time. The best and final destination is service at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Goswami Tulsi Das understands that there are many places to which the Sarvajya living spirit can travel, but the only home is attachment to the holy name.
Jal thal nab gati amit ati ag jag jeev anek. Tulsi to se deen kaham ram naam gati ek. Quote, there are an infinite number of living beings, both moving and non-moving, who have many different abodes, with some residing in the earth, some in the sky, and some in the water. But, O helpless Tulsi, for you, Sri Rama's holy name is your only home. Dohavali 37.
Our journey home begins from hearing. Simply by sacrificing some time to hear, we can be reminded of our position as spirit soul and our affiliation with supreme transcendence. That affiliation has never broken, but at the moment we have merely forgotten. The people who provide the material to be heard are thus considered saints. They rescue us from the ignorance and lift us into the light. They reveal the true Purushratha, or highest goal of the living being. In this regard, Rukmini Devi simply heard. She listened to authority figures speak of Sri Krishna, who is not only the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but also someone within the manifest realm at the time. Krishna was the king of the amazing city of gates known as Dwarka. Rukmini made up her mind after hearing sufficiently about Krishna. She wanted to serve him as his beloved wife. The first issue in fulfilling that objective was Rukmini's position within her family. She was the daughter of a king. The rest of the family had already settled on a match. She was to be married to the prince named Shishupala. Never mind that this Shishupala was antagonistic towards Krishna, Rukmini simply had a different desire. She did not agree with the proposal of her family. But what could be done? She was the young daughter living at home. Who would actually listen to her? What kind of complaint could she lodge? Which governing board could she petition? 2. A dependent in society. During that ancient time period, females were regarded as dependents. They were treated like children within the home, to always be protected. There was no sign of the independence that is commonplace today. Even if Rukmini should run away from home, what standing would she have in society when all on her own? Someone else might take her by force. She might find an even worse position than marrying Shishupala. 3. Arrangements already made. As previously mentioned, the arrangements were already made. How could Rukmini's wish ever come true? Why would anyone change plans on a whim? After all, the mind is known to be fickle. Just because someone wants something does not mean that everyone should turn their lives upside down to facilitate that desire. People are known to change their minds, as well. 4. Lack of access. Who was going to help Rukmini in this situation? It is not like she could pick up a phone and make a call. There was no direct line of communication to Dwarka. Moreover, everyone would see what she was trying to do. Her desires would become public, and the attempt at changing grooms could easily turn into a scandal. That would put Rukmini in a worse position. 5. Limited time. Time was of the essence. The marriage to Shishupala was scheduled to happen soon. Failure was on the horizon. There were devastating consequences. Someone in Rukmini's position could be forgiven for leaning towards atheism. After all, if Krishna will not come through, then perhaps there is no God. Maybe he isn't actually the husband of the goddess of fortune. There must not be any hope in this world. Except Rukmini did not settle for failure. Maintaining a cool head and relying on rational thought, she devised a plan. She would write a letter. She would give that letter to someone she could trust, a Brahmana. That Brahmana would personally deliver that letter to Krishna in Dwarka. That should be more than enough, but Rukmini went one step further. She devised a plan whereby Krishna could accomplish the task while minimizing collateral damage. Rukmini could essentially see into the future, in knowing that there would be a struggle if Krishna showed up. There would be fighting, and she understood that as Ajita, Krishna cannot be defeated. Still, she came up with a plan for Krishna to arrive at just the right moment, taking Rukmini in such a way that their escape would be expedited. Krishna and Rukmini, the story of their marriage, which is still celebrated to this day, proves the theoretical principle explained in Bhagavad-gita. Many years later, Sri Krishna instructed the bow warrior Arjuna in all things life and death, applying to the full-time continuum. One of the principles explained was that Krishna brings to the devotees what they lack. He maintains what they have, but also fills in any gaps that might cause issues.
Ananyash chintayanto ma, ye janah paryupaste, tesham nityabhiyuktana, yog kshemam vahamya aham. Quote, but those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. Lord Krishna, Bhagavad-gita 9:22.
In closing, communication channels to lack, up against the wall her back. Since of the essence was time, where failure soon to find. Rukmini devising plan and letter gave, to Brahmana asked for Krishna to save. At the precise moment to take, for most daring marriage escape.